right, hey everybody, we're back again. I've got Anna Slack, our inside sales manager, with me today. How you doing, Anna?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing really good. She's been a bit nervous for this interview, which is hilarious because she's so good with people, but yet she hasn't been looking forward to putting herself behind the camera. So, Anna, why don't you tell everybody a little bit about what you do and where you're from and how long you've been with us?
Sure, yeah. So I started in December. I just moved up to Prince George from Vancouver in September.
What part of
Um,
Vancouver?
I lived around Riley Park area, right around St. Elizabeth Park.
Nice. It's
Yeah, it
beautiful
was so nice. Yeah, it was a really cool little community. It was like its own little city. I liked
there.
it a
Nice.
lot.
So you started with us very recently there, and you've moved up to the Great White North.
Oh yeah.
How's your first winter been?
So it's still winter. It's like April 10th or something crazy. Yeah, no, it's really beautiful though. We wanted to get out of the city, and where we're living now too, it's so peaceful, and it took a long time for me to get used to how quiet it is. But it's really nice. Yeah, I still freak out every time I see an animal, so the charm has not been lost yet.
That's good. That's good. Well, there's more animals to come, and I think one of the cool things about living in the north is the fact that you might, be heading to your car one day and see, three or four deer, on the cut banks and a bald eagle in the air, and there might be a fox swimming across the river, and then you can hop in your car and you can go downtown and eat at a really urban center like 5 minutes away. And at a very affordable price. I think it's really neat. If you haven't been to the north before, I think it's quite an experience. And people think that we're roughing it up here. We're really not. But we kind of get the best of both worlds. So
Yeah.
the winter though has been long. Like it
Oh
has been
man.
a crazy winter this year, and so I'm blaming that on Anna. So for any of you who is up in the north, it's Anna's fault that the winter has been so long this year. This is
Sure,
not
I
normal.
bring it with me, man. Yeah,
Hey, no worries.
like
It's all good. We appreciate you anyways. So,
anyways,
Anna,
yeah.
a big part of Anna's role is she focuses on our e-commerce sales as well as our wine shop. She's got a really great background in merchandising and making things look pretty, also in publishing and print. So she's got a really diverse background she's been able to bring to the winery, and it's been instrumental in our success. And I think somewhat luck, somewhat timing, somewhat we feel really, really blessed because she came on. And since she's come on, the importance of all the things she's doing has exponentially risen for our business here, and so we really appreciate what you do. Anna, maybe you want to touch base for the people listening on the different kind of things that we do at the winery that you're focusing on. So some of the things with online sales, some of the things with the way that we promote things, with the way we bundle products together that you've done that you think kind of have really helped us weather the initial storm of this COVID crisis.
Yeah, no, yeah, online sales is so key. I mean, there's very few stores right now, I feel like, who are not taking advantage of online opportunities. And especially right now, you want to be able to get that product to you and safely. And so online is very key right now. We've had such a great opportunity to vamp that up a bit. So what we're trying to do right now is collaborate and with other businesses here, and we're
Nice.
making some really fun isolation packages. We're having a lot of fun with that, and especially in the descriptions being a little cheeky. And I think it's a really good time to put some humor in that.
Mm-hmm.
Is because you see so much seriousness out there, and of course it's a serious time, but it's also you need to laugh a little bit as well. So we're putting
Yeah,
together get some wine, some games, some bubble bath, and have a good night. So
absolutely.
yeah, it's been
Yeah.
really, it's a challenge as anything is at this time. But I think we've been really lucky because we have a strong community of people that enjoy our wine, and throughout BC and Alberta, all across Canada even. We've been getting some
Mm-hmm.
really cool online orders from as far away as Montreal.
Very
So just
cool.
to goes to show how much of a presence even a little winery up in Prince George has across Canada.
Yeah, I think it's so neat what you've done there. So essentially, you've taken you've worked with a whole bunch of local businesses here in Prince George, and you've collaborated to add products for people to kind of bring a little bit of joy into their lives. I think what many people don't realize about our business is we kind of one of our missions is to try to make everyone's day just a little bit better, and in that way we've been able to take a product which is really a non-essential service, try and provide it to people in a responsible way and support other businesses. And, that's what it really is. It's a treat, right? So if you are locked inside, the fact that you can order to your door a bottle of wine, a bath bomb, or for your friend or something like that, I think that you're doing something good. We're partnering to help others in the community, other businesses in the community, and we're doing it in a seamless way that just makes it easier
Totally.
for people to kind of weather the storm.
I think that's the big thing there too, is like people still really want to support local. And with this collaboration, we're giving them that opportunity to still do that. And it is interesting to like even just thinking about, oh, I really don't want to cook tonight. Like, where am I going to go for food? And obviously, I can't leave to go to that restaurant. But I feel like even my mindset has changed. It's not so much like which cuisine do I feel like eating tonight. It's more like, okay, who do I want to support tonight? Yeah, I'm really noticing a bigger sense of community, and people are much more looking out for each other now during all of this, which is amazing. It's amazing to see that.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Anna, in the wine shop, kind of one of two of the big components that we have here is events. Like we do a lot of internal events, like over Christmas, we saw thousands of people come through our Light Up the Orchard event. We have people come through from all over the world to do wine tastings at the wine shop, come into our restaurant. Like those things are not available. And so we've kind of switched a little bit to more of a direct consumer online component. What do you think is going to happen after, everyone's released back out into the wild, so to speak? How do you think this is going to affect our business, like going forward into the future and into the summer and next year and on?
It's definitely going to be different. Especially you go to a winery and you want an experience, right? I mean, think about any other wine tour you've done in the past. And then you want to be able to go there, you want to be able to try all the wines, you want to take advantage of the beautiful property that they're on, and you want an interaction. And we don't know exactly what that's going to look like, but I definitely think that social distancing is still going to be a part of our future. So I think that tastings are going to maybe look a little different, whether that means smaller groups or maybe a little bit more of an intimate tasting. And I know a lot of wineries have that kind of elevated tasting where you get to go to the room and try. So maybe that's going to become the norm. Maybe we have smaller tasting events or tasting opportunities. Tours are probably going to look different too. There might be maybe smaller groups that can do tours. I think just things are gonna look a little bit more intimate and a little bit more spaced out for sure. And who knows what that looks like we have an amazing property out here where you can go and have a bottle of wine, take some glasses and go sit on our patio, even in our orchard. And even just now, literally like 5 minutes ago, we had some women come in that wanted to buy a bottle of wine and go sit outside. It's a beautiful day out here.
Well,
and we can't do it right now. We're in the thick of it. We can't do it right now, but sure, hopefully we can in the future, where it's just maybe that looks differently. Maybe it's just more spaced out tables, just kind of still making it work and taking advantage of all the beautiful space that we had.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's really interesting. I think you're right. That's it's going to be a change, and people are going to look for security. They're going to be looking to, still experience the beautiful components of the winery and the wine tastings and the social component of it, but they're going to want to do it in a different way. So we're going to have to start thinking about that. One of the things I've been thinking about recently is, I think we've been doing an okay job of bringing the winery experience to people outside of the winery in the meantime. One of the things I'd like to hear from the audience, if you guys would, I'd love to hear some comments on. What would you like us to do to bring the winery experience to you? Do you like virtual wine tastings? Maybe there's maybe it's live, maybe it's not. Maybe you get like a code to a YouTube channel or something when you get a bottle of wine. Would you like us to do virtual tours, every couple of days so that you can actually go out and experience? If it's a beautiful day like today, then Anna can go out with the phone and just show you around the orchard and stuff like that, or have one of our agricultural team answer some questions about what they're doing. I'd like to hear some more, so hopefully we can get that. Now, Anna, you're from Vancouver, recently moved to Prince George, so this is probably doubly socially distancing for yourself. How are you kind of coping with that? How are you and your husband kind of trying to keep in touch with people and keep in contact and keep your sanity a little bit while you're also socially distancing?
That's so funny you say that, because we were thinking, we're actually really happy that this happened while we're here and not in Vancouver. I mean, it's so much easier to social distance up here than compared to where we were living. And it's not a dig on my neighborhood. I do love I love my community there, but even just here, we live up in the heart, which is a little more north of town, and I got a green belt behind my house. I can just go into the woods and not see anyone, and you can't do that in Vancouver right now. So we're feeling very fortunate we are where we are while this is happening. But yeah, it's different, and we're keeping in touch with a lot of people. Zoom is a lifesaver. They're just going to be making a killing during this whole thing.
two thumbs up for Zoom. They definitely exploded onto the scene here in the last couple of weeks.
So we've been doing a lot of we play Jackbox a lot with people, and we do it a lot we usually do it over Xbox. So we've been playing with Twitch to share the screens there, and also on Zoom. And yeah, it's so funny. I'm talking to people now that more than I did before this whole thing happened. So yeah, a lot more people getting in touch, which is nice. So yeah, you care about people way more, right? You want to make sure they're doing okay.
Yeah, I've definitely noticed that. I mean, I've said it a few times recently, but I'm connecting with people that I haven't connected with for years in some cases, or people that I used to connect with every couple of months. Now I'm chatting with them every couple of days or every couple of weeks, and I think that in a strange way, I feel more connected now than I did before. But that's not the case for everyone, and a lot of people have, are having a really tough time with that. A lot of people have kind of, lost work, or have been affected by close family members getting COVID and that kind of stuff. And so that's not to take anything away from this. I mean, I think this is a really tough situation. And one of the things that we like to do here is just try and find, where the bright lights are, and so that we can point ourselves in the right direction, because we think that this is, a limited time thing. And when it comes out on the other end, we want to be prepared to be able to serve our guests and do things in a really in a way that they want to see things as they come out of it. So more feedback we get, the better. What's your favorite wine so far of our wines? Obviously, you were kind of more from the grape world before you came up here.
Yeah. It changes all the time. I'm not gonna lie. Right now, I think my favorite is Cassis Noir. It was, when I first started, it was Cassis Noir, and then I kind of changed around. I did Cuvée Blanche for a long time, was my go-to. Then Boreal Frizzante, and then Gooseberry. Gooseberry was so different. If anyone out there has not tried Gooseberry yet, you've got to try Gooseberry. It's so earthy and different, and it just kind of shocks you, because you have this idea of what fruit wine is going to be, and then I'm like, okay, you've got to try Gooseberry, because it just kind of flips that whole idea on its head. It's so different, almost a little sour and tart. It's pretty cool. I think that's why I love it so much, because it's just so different.
Yeah, I've got a funny story, not to embarrass you too much, Anna, but so when Anna was first applying for the position here, she applied, and then and like anyone who is really interested in a position but wasn't really sure what it was about would do, she came to do some reconnaissance. So she was scouting out the wine. just so happened that I was helping out behind the wine tasting bar that night, and so she came in innocently. She's like, "Oh, it's just some guy behind the wine tasting bar. Probably he doesn't know that I've applied for this position." So she tries a bunch of wine, and I ended up recommending a wine that I didn't have. So she put her name down for that wine, and I'm like, "I know who you are. You just
I
applied for
know.
that position the other
I
day."
was gonna give a fake name, and I was like, that'd be so weird. I come in the next day for an interview, and they're like, "Aren't you?" And I'm like,
Oh my God! No, it was fantastic, and actually probably was one of the reasons we knew we wanted to hire you pretty much right off from the bat.
"I'm
So
so sneaky."
yeah, that's right. Sneaky without being sneaky. It was perfect. We appreciate that. So and is there anything you can think of that individuals or businesses who are maybe kind of maybe they're really struggling on a sales front. They're selling retail products or their restaurant products, and they're trying to figure out how to kind of weather this storm. Is there any things or suggestions or tips you think they might be really valuable for them in the next coming weeks?
Fun. I think right now it's we really got to think outside of the box. I mean, if you go through, especially if you've been in business for so long, you're so used to having things done in a structured way. You really got to throw the rule book out right now. Really got to get adapting and just being really flexible as much as you can. And I know that's way easier said than done, especially when you have a lot of policies already in place. I think what helps too is we've opened, even with us, like for example, we've opened up our marketing meeting and our sales meetings to a lot more of our management team than normally would be involved in those meetings, because we want to get everyone's ideas. We want to get every perspective that we can on this situation and how to stay afloat. I think that that's really important, and no idea at this point is a bad idea. You got to really start breaking the mold here. And it's going to look different for everyone. I think a big thing right now, obviously, that we've touched on this, is your online presence, and whether that's through social media. If you're not on social, you should probably get on social right about now.
Everyone get a TikTok tomorrow.
Oh man, I'm like obsessed with TikTok right now. It's hilarious. I feel so old watching these things. I'm like, how did we do that? But like you need to try to staying true to your brand is extremely important in these places too. So getting your values across in these new platforms, and just really making sure you're going to your customer and still understanding what your customer expects from you as a brand and wants from you as a brand, and just making sure you're still able to deliver that to them through several platforms if you can, or just one platform. Your social media mix is going to look different for every person, just for every business, depending. I think the main thing right now though is still just making sure that you're there for your customer, if you can be. And I keep jumping back on that because it's really hard right now. I mean, like especially if you're like a wedding dressmaker, like I can only imagine right now weddings are getting canceled, but trying to be creative with that, right? And we're a lot of places now are doing virtual weddings, so you still want to look good even though it's that. So I'd say no idea is a bad idea at this point, and just being as creative as you can, getting a lot of team members involved, and because everyone's going to come up with a different idea on this.
Excellent. And if you would touch really quickly, because I think you just mentioned that at the end, but I think it's really important, is kind of that cooperation between team members. Is there some things that have been working that you see that we've been doing that have been working well, or maybe you've seen other companies do that have been working well? Because I mean, one of the toughest things is, that a lot of our teams working remotely right now. A lot of you don't see them every day. And, what are things that you think work really well?
I've been really enjoying watching companies do more personal things on their stories, especially. Like I've been following some people, and then you get to see them at home with their family cooking, or like some of them are doing this 10 for 10 challenge, which please don't ever tag me in that. Like if anyone watches, I will not. But it's just really exciting to see that, because those are things you as a consumer, you want to see those behind the scene moments. And I think this is such a great opportunity for people to show that side of a business and to show that personality that these aren't just big corporations, like these are people. And I think that you really kind of get disillusioned at that at times. And so now is a great opportunity as a business to show your personal side, to show your brand has personality.
I love that. So if people have any other questions for you or want to make any comments, obviously they can comment on this post here. We're going to be on YouTube, LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook,
Oh
you
boy.
name it. But how can they get in touch with you if they have any questions?
Email's probably the best way, to be honest. I'm constantly checking email on my phone, so it's Anna at northernlightswinery.ca. And I'm also involved in the marketing team too, so I will see messages that you send through Instagram and as well too.
Awesome. No, I really appreciate that. So two really important messages I think Anna had during this here. Number one is the need to be innovative, try new things. I think also kind of understanding that it has to be things that are necessary for, for somebody. I don't think we want to sell anyone things that they don't necessarily need, that we're just trying to find things that they do need and package them in a way that they can support local, that they can get it easily, seamlessly, and safely, so that they can continue to support us and other businesses. Talking about things like wedding dressmakers, very difficult time right now. We absolutely feel for you. I hope it comes back as soon as possible. But how can we partner with virtual wedding virtual weddings? There are still people that are going to get married regardless of this. How can we get services and products to them in a different way? Partnerships that you've never thought of before. How can we do that? And then also as a brand and working with your team to connect everyone and bring everyone's personality out, because generally the brand's personality mimics your team's personality. I can say that's definitely the case here. And so, when we are releasing stuff, trying to integrate Anna's personality or Seth's or Mahela's or Tracy's or Noemi's or any of our team is fantastic in that way. So really great. Really appreciate having you on there. And you've been fantastic, Anna. Look forward to it. And thanks guys for watching. I hope you have a wonderful week.